TradeFractionalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Frivolity. Happy Friday to you, TGIF and all that. It is, where are we here? I got my little date calendar thing here somewhere. Today is Friday, 26th of May. And I think I had told you guys last week, I don't even know what you call them. Do you call them the Commonwealth nations? I don't even know. But sort of all those people that were used to be in the British Empire. They all pretty much had a holiday in unison. We used to call it like Victoria Day. And this week, the Americans, of course, we want to do everything on our own schedule, different than everybody else. So they have a holiday this weekend, and I think it's like the Memorial Day holiday or something like that. I did see note that the stock markets are going to be closed on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. What markets are open Monday? What is that? May 30th or something along those lines. 29th. I know some are not. So anyway, around these holiday sessions, you often get some pretty wonky price action. Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th. Mind you, I'm not quite sure why it says Monday there those days. But if I understand correctly, it'll be a holiday on Monday. Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th, June 2023. So long and short of it here is we are sort of into kind of like quasi holiday mode. So if anything, this probably bodes well for the crypto kids, usually through these holiday weekends to begin with, especially if the market's catching a bit on a Friday afternoon, people are in relatively good spirits. Yeah, usually crypto does relatively well through sort of the early part of the weekend. Then as we get through into sort of Monday, and that being the holiday, there's usually a bunch of shenanigans that the banksters do in international markets, over-the-counter markets and stuff on those days. And then, we get ready for retail trade Tuesday. So as you can see here, clearly equity is catching a bid quite dramatically. Interesting how Bitcoin and crypto is also catching a bid. Commodities, the crude oil's up a bit of a move here. Interesting dichotomy. Is that the right word? I don't think so. Divergence, maybe, between the gold and the silver market. So a little bit of an oddity going on there. Interesting to see how the US dollar is continuing to march its way higher. I think probably if there was going to be a market of note for like the past week or two, what really jumped out at me, it's this just relentless surge in the US dollar. What's fascinating about this market, and if anything, I think it's really an excellent sort of tell about how, problem is when I say this kind of stuff, of course, the mainstream, and this is why we don't get that many views. And I suppose the videos are suppressed to a certain degree. But I think that this is all like utterly being manipulated, just like really, really brutal manipulation. Why do I say that? Well, the news coming out today, if you are one of those sort of people that believes fundamentals drive things, the headline here is that the preferred measure that the market likes to follow to sort of get an idea of what the Fed is thinking with regard to inflationary pressures, price pressure in our society, and then of course the propensity to raise or lower interest rates, which is a huge driver of the market. It actually came out with Pretty bullish number here. You don't want to be bullish of the PCE. This is another one of these. What's good for Main Street's not so good for Wall Street. What's good for Wall Street, not so good for Main Street. I would say this is bad for everybody all around. But anyway, the headline first thing this morning, core PCE prices in the US, which take out the quote unquote volatile food and energy sector, rose by 0.4 month over month in April, above market expectations. And of course, this is the Fed's preferred gauge of inflation. And it inched up to 4.7%. When people are like, wait a minute, I thought the Fed was going to be done raising rates because they've gotten in front of the inflation curve and inflation is falling. Remember, we're supposed to be at 2% inflation. So sitting 4 or 5%, that's like double what's sustainable by our society. So you would think in that kind of environment, maybe equities aren't going to do so good because the odds of the Fed raising interest rates. And, as a really good anecdote of what the Fed is probably likely to do with interest rates, follow the US dollar. Why would people come in and bid the US dollar index to new highs and, of course, sell off the international fiat currencies to new lows? And the answer is that people are buying US or maybe taking their money out of international markets and buying T-bills and expecting to get a pay raise, higher interest rates when the Fed meets next. And frankly speaking, I think that's justifiable. So that makes sense. And then, of course, we've talked lots to you guys about good old Fed spreads. And how the euro dollar market is the corporate interest rate market, and it basically drives the short-term interest rate market. The Fed doesn't really have any choice. If they let this spread get too out of control, and you can see the spread is ticking up, this is sort of flashing a warning sign that, you better get in front of this problem or else things are going to get out of control. You're going to start having situations where major banks are going to go under. Uh-oh, here we go again. So anyway, the point of the matter here is that that's basically saying there is no pause in interest rate increases. I think people took away from the market recently that we had Fed minutes release, and that's basically there's the commentary around the previous Fed meeting. And that commentary was like, well, maybe we're not so hawkish anymore. Maybe we could take a bit of a pause. I'm telling you right now, the market right now is saying you better not pause. And if you do, we're going right back into crisis here. So, the US dollar itself is telling us, the euro dollar market is telling us. And I suppose if we look at the actual bond market, on the higher inflationary numbers, see a whole bunch of M's coming in here. So put it all together, I would imagine that on balance, that's not really the most bullish situation for risk taking in the market. And yet you can see the reaction out of the stock market today and crypto to a lesser degree. And the question is why? Does this make any sense at all? And then sadly, and that when I show you this, you're just going to be like, God damn, this is so cliche. So good old S&P 500, the spiders. This was actually the very first exchange traded fund. And it was floated back in like the 1980s, called the spiders. And it's like a preferred institutional tool for investing through the exchange traded fund market. So it's the biggest ETF around, and I believe that a lot of institutional players use this as their proxy on the stock market. You can see the very noticeable gapping higher here. We are in sort of that May period, sell in May and walk away, and kind of, fluffy price action gaps all over the place. I suppose there's gaps all over the place anyway. We did have some pretty bullish news coming out of the semiconductor sector, and our little stock pickers group were super uber bullish of the US semiconductors. So I guess that doesn't surprise. The only problem is chasing a stock like Nvidia. It's just ridiculously expensive. But anyway, the point here is, you can see where the SPY is. We're ratcheting right back up. We come in, fill in gaps. And then this all circles around to, what are the boys in the options pits doing? So here is the options open interest. And at the same time, we should always start the conversation with the options with what are the puts doing, because the institutions write most of the puts. And of course, we're talking about 420 on the SPY there. We just said a moment ago, right? Here we are, 419.29 here over on bar chart. And lo and behold, 419, 420. Look at the open interest. So they wrote tons of these options, which means when you write an option, you collect a premium. And there's a legal obligation that if the price goes out below this level, then you have to buy the SPY 100 shares per contract off of whoever bought the option off of you. So you can see tons and tons of buying of options. Rule of thumb, institutions write in 95% of all puts. So that's your Goldman Sachs, Joey Diamonds, all those idiots. And lo and behold, look here, 419, 420, and look how the open interest just collapses above here. I mean, it's shocking how brutally obvious this is. So if they can get the market to go out up top here, well, all of these options that they wrote, all those premiums just go straight into their pockets. And you can see what they're on the hook for if they can get this stock market to close out up top here. I mean, it's just brutally, you can't get him a more blatant reason for why the stock market is rallying today as it is. I suppose on balance, what are some of the other econs that are coming out? We had University of Michigan consumer sentiment come out about 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, this morning. Where are we here? Friday. There you are. So University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Consumers feeling a little bit more positive. So I suppose on balance, that's supportive. But that's feeling a little bit more positive in the face of a big M here. If anything, this is really typical sort of May, June swoon. Usually we take a bit of a pause here and then get ramped up for the coming, summer silly season. So consumers feeling a little bit better. So I suppose that's sort of fuel for the fire. And I think, the Nvidia news earlier this week really lit a fire underneath tech stocks. And I noticed that the tech stocks, they're kind of leading the charge here. If we look at the broader market, you can see the NASDAQ is just on fire here right now. And of course, crypto is part of that sort of tech space. So I think crypto is doing pretty well here today. And you can see Bitcoin dominance, total market cap. This is a fun spread trade between forwards contracts and the cash market. I like to follow it. And this blue line here you see here, it should move the exact opposite to whatever trend is. So it is literally emming out and breaking down, which means Bitcoin's rocking and rolling. So today is Friday. On Fridays we have a special guest that comes on. Week in, week out we have various different guests. Today we have the privilege of one of our Canasta Club members decided that he'd like to come and join us, talk a little bit about how he's participated in the junior market, the junior crypto market in particular here through the winter and spring. And that's Eddie. Eddie, do you want to say hello to these good people? I don't know whether he's here now or not.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone.
Hello, there you are. So that's a hearty hello from Africa, right? You're in Africa right now, right?
Yeah, right.
So we'll check in with Eddie in the after party. Should be a lively conversation. I have to say the junior crypto market, quite a bit of green on the screen here today. And I did find it interesting. I mean, this is a bit, This is a really commentary on how bloody difficult it is to be a human being in this world and sort of program yourself to be an algo. It's almost impossible. So I've been diligently, and I think I can show you the trading plan here. I've been diligently following these TRI crypto top 30 signals through, I guess, since about December. And on balance, I've been doing fairly well. Where the hell's the algo page? There it is. Had a sell signal come in there the other day. And then, and unfortunately, well, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know what the thing is. I had a TRI team meeting last night that was fairly heated. It's the way these meetings go. Guys completely distracted, not paying attention, and at 9:30 last night, the algo spit up a buy signal. Jesus Christ! So we just went sell signal. I had to sell everything. And then the next bloody day, the algo spits up a buy signal. I got to get right back in there and buy. And of course, I woke up this morning and I didn't really have much sleep last night because the meeting went fairly late because people in this team meeting are all over the world. So Brian had to bite the bullet and be late last night. And as I said, it was a fairly robust conversation to say the least. And so as a result, actually, when I woke up, I literally woke up right here and I was like, oh shit, we got to get this goddamn order in. There is the buy signal, there's the buy, and literally the market just took off like a rocket right after I got up and I missed the damn trade. So you can imagine what kind of mood Brian's in today. And that's just the way this damn trader's life goes. Should be long on the algo. I don't want to chase. So I think I just have to leave this alone and just hope that the market comes back down to this level to sneak my way in. Wicks and tails like to be eaten, but my hunch here is that this is actually, and actually what's fascinating is that we actually had this conversation with Eddie. So it's interesting that he's going to be on the call here today. We had this conversation in the lounge with Eddie the other day. I mean, it was quite remarkable how this went down. Oh, I don't know where the hell the damn chart is. That I even drew all this up, and keep in mind that we have these higher time frame sort of bearish patterns working, so nothing's really changed here. And I don't have any permission based on the trading plan to do anything here. You just got to leave it alone and let it work. And then we also have some lower time frame setups, like bearish bot setups, and they're just working away. Nothing's really changed with any of that, other than now this bearish bot's back underwater. And that's a trader's life. It's the way these setups go. This is a huge setup. So there was the short entry. Whoa, heavily underwater. Whoa, in the money now. Oh, we're back to basically what, down 20 bucks on the trade right now. So these higher time frame setups, positions, there's nothing really changed here, and I don't have permission to move anything. But if I go down to like the 30-minute chart, and actually usually I do this off of like well, anyway, for illustration purposes, there it is on KuCoin. But if I'm working off of these charts that I talked to you guys about, right? Here's that 4-hour chart. That's the bearish bot right there. And of course, we have the original M structure fail. That trade's still just working away. So these guys, there's nothing's really changed here. But what we did notice, and we'll talk about this in the after party, is it looked like there was an inverted head and shoulders that was forming. And I think, this all developed around that NVIDIA news release. NVIDIA knocked the cover off the ball with regard to earnings. Semiconductors are very strong. Semiconductor demand is super, super strong. We are into the next growth cycle. The US economy, in my opinion, the world's economic engine is firing on all cylinders. It's the stupid communist countries of the world that are actually in big trouble here. my country. Excuse me. Um, so, it's interesting that there are some people in the market that are actually calling for like a melt up in equity markets here. We'll see how that goes. As I said before, this feels a little bit suspicious because of all the options expiry stuff. Something just doesn't smell right about this, but nonetheless, we are heading into a holiday long weekend. They're going to print the market as nice and positive. Everybody's going to be talking around Memorial Day. Memorial Day is usually a positive, sort of giving thanks for the people who sacrificed their lives to protect our freedoms. Try and keep jerks like Mr. Putin in check around the world and Mr. Winnie the Pooh. And thank you very much to all people around the world who are trying to defend democracy. Yes, just as Mr. Winston Churchill once said, um, democracy sucks. The special interests are always trying to screw us over. The 1% is always trying to like keep us in financial slavery, blah, 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 blah. But it's the best damn system we got. And do you want Vladdy running around telling you how you're supposed to think and what you're supposed to do, or Winnie the Pooh, even worse, and those social credit shit? I don't think so. And if anything, thank you very much to all the people who sacrificed their lives ahead of time. We'll maybe do another comment on Sunday about how we should all be very thankful. Anyway, so I think, given the Nvidia news, I think that the sort of bearish tone of trade was knocked off. They sort of knocked the fluffiness of the bearishness out of the market. And if you want to use Bitcoin as a proxy, I actually like the fact that through all that, an inverted head and shoulders came in, which the inverted head and shoulders actually gives you very specific price objectives. You just simply measure the distance from the head back to the neckline and then project that off the neckline. And oh, what a surprise. You can see how that basically aligns with the 61.8 fib, which is a fairly important fib, which also happens to align with a fairly well-established trend line. This trend line's been going on now for quite a while. You can see how far back this little trend line goes. It starts from this market structure top all the way over here. So whenever I see market structure validated trend lines, that's pretty significant to a guy like me. So if we maybe make that a little bigger so you can see it, I think that's a fairly important trend line that the market's working with. So you can see how all this head and shoulder, inverted head and shoulders wants to do is just bring the market back to playing with that trend line again. And of course, here is our good old reload zone. Here is the original market structure top. We try to encourage people in the public, and especially anybody new to our education programs, to think that institutions don't like to sell down markets. In fact, if you work on an institutional order desk and you get all excited and you get sucked into the FOMO or the panic of a sell-off and you start selling down here, you're not going to have your job for too long. You will be replaced. So, I might argue that really what the market's doing here is we did dump, and I think we were heading lower. We hit a bearish AEB equals CD objective, and we kind of found that the market ran out of sellers. You could kind of feel that the market was getting exhausted. And then we started to slowly turn back up. Then the NVIDIA news came out, which confirmed the inverted head and shoulders. We consolidated a bit. And I think you could even argue that this is almost like just like a midpoint consolidation. I don't know whether we want to go all the way down to the bottom, but just eyeballing this, something like A to B, and then C to D, boom, 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 boom. I could very easily see a stab, and notice that that's the same target as the inverted head and shoulders. So I get the impression that we're heading up top here. What pisses me off, of course, is because, and this is a really, really good lesson for everybody who was in like an aspiring trader. Life sometimes has a really bad habit of getting in the way. And, whether it be contentious business meetings that distract you, or poor sleep, or poor diet, or maybe you have health issues. Long and short of it here is Algo spit up signals, and you have to be able to act when those signals came in. And I just dropped the ball. It's just simple as that. I missed the trade. And I kind of fancy myself a little bit of a perfectionist. So this is going to just drive me absolutely crazy. And, I guess the whole reason why I'm going on about Bitcoin and crypto here is we are heading into a holiday weekend. Usually the tone heading into the weekend is going to set sort of expectations for, Friday evening, Saturday morning, because it's a holiday weekend. It probably goes on through Sunday. So I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin up in this area through the weekend. That would not surprise me at all. And I completely missed that trade. And I'm going to be pissed off to all get up about it. Anyway, it's something I have to deal with. Journal, log, all that kind of fun stuff. So there's your backdrop. If anything, we kind of saw hints that the market might be strong here. In that, you guys all saw the other day where this was a name that I snuck my way into off of this W over here. And now we're up at basically, that's like 400% return on that trade. Really nice trade. I noticed this little guy, he's starting to get ready and going here. This ocean looks like he's getting ready to go. You can see nice little W trying to come in there. So I can see, and there's a lot of green on this screen here. And some of these, I mean, oh, Jesus, we're back to these kind of meme stories again. Is this thing getting ready for another leg higher? 40% move higher on the day. Holy crap. Oh boy, here we go again. So if you want to make some money in crypto, I'm telling you, this probably is going to be a pretty fun weekend. So if anything, can't wait to get over and hang out with Eddie a little bit here, and hear about all the bazillions of doubles. Do you have a number for us? How many doubles did you bang out over that past 4 or 5 months, Eddie? It's a pretty big number.
To be honest, I don't know exactly the number. I really don't care. I'm just buying them, put the sell orders and forget. But I'm expecting around
Can you
40 or
ballpark
something.
us? Okay, was it 10? Was it 20? Was it 30?
I think about 40 doubles.
40.
We can
You know
count them
what?
after
I think
during the
that's
show.
I think that's the perfect note to end this video on. 40. Oh, I love you, man. You're the best.
Yeah,
Rock and
that's
roll,
why
dude.
we have the TRI 1+1 = 3, and most of not most but a lot of ideas they were coming from the side members.
Yeah,
Just having a look, people are sharing, and why not? Let's give a try.
there you go.
Set
Well
it and
said.
forget it.
There you go. Yeah. All right,
E-
so
uh,
we're gonna head on over. It's about 9:30. Hopefully, you had a half decent market update. You probably hear it in Brian's voice. He's a little pissed off at himself here today about this missed algo trade, but it is what it is. And there it goes. I mean, I've got my order working on Binance, so we'll just fingers crossed and get some sort of pullback and sneak in here. But on balance, 40 doubles, give or take 10 or 20. All right. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. Get out there and have some fun in the market. I have a funny feeling this weekend is actually going to be relatively friendly. So PMA for the win, slow and steady wins the race. Don't take no wooden nickels. I'm trying to see if there's a cool image. Well, I guess maybe our come inu is the best example. 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. Geez, are we getting ready for another bot here? It wouldn't surprise me. Just get in there and hunt the setups. And I think that there's a little bit of an inertia around a positive inertia around this holiday weekend. Just once we're done the weekend, and if anything, the image that I think probably actually summarizes this market really well is over here. I had suggested to you guys that I kind of thought we were going to rally into that FOMC event window, which is about the somewhere between about the 10th of June and the 14th of June, somewhere in that window. So you may find that we actually have a half decent little market window. We're still working some pretty negative price action, but over the next 2 or 3 days, I think you could probably see that we rally back up and into reload short zones against all these highs. And you might find that little names, like I showed you, I don't know whether this thing does it or whether it's something like the ARPA. They could very easily do some serious damage here through the weekend. So if you do trade this stuff, be sharp, be on the ball, trade your setups, and just own this shit like a boss. All right, have yourselves a great day. All the best. Actually, in fact, actually, I put a tweet out just the other day, just talking a little bit about my expectations going forward. Of course, that's assuming Alan's going to let me see my profile. And tweets that I put out. Of course, Canadian banks are a disaster. But this is how I feel about us making some money in crypto here over the next few years. Get your skirt together. And if anything, hop in the after party and learn from a guy who did spend the past couple of years getting his skirt together. And like I said, 40 doubles here this past seasonal rally window. Way to go. All right. Have yourselves a great day. We'll see everybody. Oh, Sunday. Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention. Sorry, I keep talking. Chris and I have been working diligently on a nice little sort of summary newsletter for the weekly broiler chicken show. Talk a little bit about what we've seen out of the breadth indicator, a little bit out of the econs, a little bit about the weekly commodity trend survey, any markets of note, and of course, Brian's Bitcoin summary that he does up Sunday mornings before the broiler chicken show. So you can get this, and it's got a nice big fat link to the actual broiler chicken show. It also has some other links if you happen to want to peruse the site a little bit. If you want to get this in your email, either Sunday afternoon or whenever, we have a email sign up. And I've asked Chris if he can just throw this link into the description of the video today, or I guess in the comments. I'm not quite sure where the best place is to put it. But we're just going to ask everybody if you do want to get this in your email. And I think it's a great way for you to stay in the loop. And then that way, if you happen to miss the actual live show, you've got the link handy right in your email. Consider throwing your email address on this newsletter opt-in form, and we can get that sent to you on a regular basis, which I think is super value added. So that's a new project that we're working on, and we'd love to have you a part of it. All right, have yourselves a great day, everybody. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins the race. Let's go all listen to Eddie's fun adventures in altcoin land, banging out doubles. For our little old lady canasta club, French lady. I'm not quite sure what we call her, but anyway, all the best. And the only thing left for Brian to say for this free video is bye for now.